I understand you are the chair of the OpenStack Foundation, which is an amazing thing. How did that happen, and what does that actually mean from your perspective?
So the board met for the first time. It was actually at LinuxCon in San Diego about 5 weeks ago. So that was our first meeting, and I've been working, and several of the board members that are now board members, we've been working together to as an ad hoc group to form the foundation. So we were all contributing, and I was part of that effort. So when we got to LinuxCon, at that point, the foundation had been legally formed, and the members, the board members, had been either appointed, the gold, the platinum members had appointed the board members, and SUSE's a platinum. The gold members had held their elections as far as which gold members were going to be on the board and represent the rest of the gold members, and the individual member had elected their representatives as well. So our first board meeting was in, as I said, in San Diego at LinuxCon. It was an all-day meeting, and then during that meeting, one of the action items in there was to elect a board chair from amongst the board members.
Sure.
And the board decided to elect me as the chair and Lou Tucker from Cisco as the vice chair.
Good. Did you put your name forward, or how did the process work? I'm just curious.
I did. So both Lou and I put our names forward during the meeting. So it wasn't like we had a big campaign or or big debate, or
how these things go.
Just stated, what we felt we could contribute to the board. And,
good. Now, I know in your case you were the chair of the OpenSUSE Foundation at the time, and now you're not.
I'm not.
So did that mean by taking one job you had to give up the other?
I was just too busy.
Yeah.
I just went to. I looked at the community. In fact, at that time I was planning the OpenSUSE Summit.
Yeah.
And between that workload, and other stuff that's coming up with OpenSUSE elections and so forth, and the conference, the OpenSUSE conference, I just looked at the workload and realized I can't serve the OpenSUSE community for as much time as that community needs, and so I just raised the flag and said we need to pass that off to somebody that can.
So what's your role within the SUSE, OpenSUSE side of things now, or is it just the commercial side now?
So I'll continue to participate just as a community member.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm helping put together our booth, the OpenSUSE booth at LinuxCon in Europe.
Okay.
So I'll continue to participate, just not as chair.
Very good. And then on the commercial side, what do you do on the commercial side of SUSE Linux?
So the commercial side, I look at new initiatives, which is why I got involved with the OpenStack in the first place.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at new initiatives. I also participate, as you know, in the Linux Foundation on the board of directors there, so that takes a chunk of my time.
Yeah.
I also participate in other areas. We're ramping up our participation in the ODCA, the Open Data Center Alliance, and looking at other work groups within OASIS. Participate in the ODF specification, which is part of OpenOffice and LibreOffice. So I'm actually an advisor on the LibreOffice organization as well.
The Document Foundation.
The Document Foundation, So I participate there. So it has to do with a lot of initiatives in the industry and open source and new standards and so forth.
So just as a dumb question, but do you spend most of your time in meetings, I would assume?
Spend a lot of my
time. It's all meetings,
It's all meetings. I spend a lot of my time in meetings and discussing with our architects and product managers and new directions and things we should be looking at and incorporating, perhaps pursuing to incorporate into our products.
And then how do you report that back to, your management, whether it's Niels Brockmeyer or whoever it might be within the SUSE organization?
like you said, a lot of meetings.
Yeah, a lot of meetings.
A lot of meetings, a lot of emails. You know, try to.
Do they give you a certain direction that they want you to be, pushing at all these various organizations?
It goes both ways. I try to they give me a lot of flexibility to go investigate and figure out what's new, in our industry, and pursue and discuss with them, ideas on what I think is important. And then of course that comes back to me from our product and project managers as well,
yeah.
and with our partners. A lot of times some of these initiatives we get involved with are by request and from our partners, so I'll go investigate and see if it makes sense for us to participate.
Got it. Good. And then in terms of OpenStack itself, I know there was a board meeting on Monday. First official board meeting where I guess you were already the chair, the foundation is formed.
No, we've had
so there's already been a couple.
Oh yeah, we've had.
Are they all on the phone?
All of them have been. So our first face-to-face was at LinuxCon. We've had a couple that were on the phone in between, and then we had a face-to-face here.
Yeah.
So most of the board meetings will be on the phone. A lot of it is still, the basics, getting the legal documents down, and setting up the budget, and hiring employees, and that sort of stuff. So I'm not sure creating committees. There's been several committees created now. The user, as Jonathan mentioned, the user committee, the legal committee, and so forth. So it's a lot of that kind of work. I don't know if that's truly exciting, but you got to
blocking and tackling, right?
Yeah, it's the blocking and tackling. You got to get all that down before we can run and build it. Specifically about Grizzly, because as you recognize, the foundation purposely set up the board, and we also set up a technical committee.
Yeah.
So one of the actions in that the board undertook was to affirm the chair of the technical committee, and it's the technical committee that'll drive those technical decisions.
Right.
So they're the ones that are working very closely on what constitutes Grizzly and going forward.
And then from your own perspective as chair, I guess you're chair for a year, or is it 3 years, or how long is it?
They'll do elections every year, yeah.
What's next? Is it just, again, more blocking and tackling, chairing the meetings and saying who gets to speak next, or is there some other big thing?
No, we'll get into a lot of guidance into the foundation and the membership, and what that entails. We'll get into a lot more strategic stuff.
Yeah.
Right now, a lot of it's just very tactical.
And then, are there any particular challenges in any of that tactical stuff, or is it just the execution really?
Most of it's just execution.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we have 24 people on the board and a variety of perspectives. So we're watching out for things to make sure we've got members around the world. We want to make sure that things are very equitable for all the members around the world, and we have continued growth worldwide. So a lot of it, like I said, is tactical, but it's also making sure that base is properly fed so that it can grow and become a worldwide organization.